Hey, welcome everyone. It is Wednesday, which means it is time for our Midweek Connect. My name is Carrie and I'm the children's worship pastor, and my husband and I are also volunteer pastors here, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to welcome you here today. This is just a quick time to connect halfway through the week. And if you are here live, feel free to join in on the chat. In the comment section, we have pastors there who would love to connect with you and pray with you and answer any questions that you have. We'd also love for you to share this video. What better way to share the love and the grace of God than just sharing this with our friends and the family so that they can experience it as well. Hey, and coming right up, we've got a little bit of worship. We've got Pastor Scott, who's going to meet with someone that I think we're all going to really enjoy.
What a powerful name it is, the name of light and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest rain, but only trust in Jesus' name. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of all. When darkness seems to hide His face, I rest on His unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within. Come on. My anchor holds within the veil. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of all. He is Lord, yeah. He's the Lord of all. When He shall come with trumpet sound, only heaven in Him be found, just in His righteousness alone, and faultless stand before the throne. Ah, yeah, yeah. Worship you, Jesus, in Christ alone, the cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of all.
All right, welcome to Midweek Connect. It's a show about really Southwest Riverside County and how we can be most helpful to each other. And we've got an amazing guest here, Aaron Adams. He's the city manager of Temecula, and it's our pleasure to have him here. We're going to talk about helpful information about really how to be and how to behave during this pandemic and what the city is doing in cooperation with health officials, other municipalities regionally, as well as the federal government to get through this well, safely, and then to recover. So we're going to have a good conversation together. Aaron, it's a great pleasure to have you here. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
And we've got to be very, clear here. We are all obeying, right? Mm-hmm. This is both government and church streaming services are considered essential. And so wearing our masks, social distancing until the camera starts, and then we're uncovering our masks. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Just on a personal level, Aaron, you and I are friends, and you've been a part of Rancho for a long time. It's been a pleasure to get to know you and your family. How are you doing, you and your family, during this, quarantine and stay-at-home season?
I think like every American, we're adjusting, but it's definitely unusual. The kids are home. I have one in college, one in high school, so they're obviously moved into the virtual learning. They have their time of school within the house. My wife also works, and she is telecommuting. I happen to be doing both, so I'm working from home, and I'm also working from City Hall as well, even though we're closed to the public. But it's been a very interesting table conversations. We're eating a lot. We're cooking a lot. I know some in the household are stir crazy, and they want to know when this is going to end. And it's hard to answer that because we don't know. But we're following the rules. It's driving some crazy, but we're making the best of it, and I do enjoy, the time with my family, and that's something that I'm sure I'll look back on and really be grateful for.
Yeah. You and I have similar aged kids, and having them back at home, there's great parts about that, but they're losing a lot. They had their life and their independence, and especially those in college, and then for them to be back home with mom and dad, there's some good parts about that, some connecting parts, but also a little frustrating, and sometimes that spells out as well. Yeah. Now, what will you look forward to most when this is kind of over and we get back to normal and we can hang out with friends and go to restaurants and go to work? What are you looking forward to the most on the other side of this?
We couple of things. I think I will look forward to most just embracing family, not through a Zoom call, and we have family spread out all over the United States like most, and we can't see them, we can't be there for them. We're very family focused, and we get together, and we're always hugging on each other and doing all the things that you can't do now. So I think that will be a very emotional time for everyone. We also like to plan vacations, maybe not cruises in the near term, I don't know, but just having something on the calendar to look forward to, getting away, getting out of town, going out to dinner, and just enjoying a restaurant or a movie. Those will be some things that we got on our list, waiting for.
Now, this might be a strange question, but some people are experiencing some really nice times staying at home. What will you miss from this stay-at-home period?
Probably like you, the kids are wanting to get back to their college lives and where they don't have curfews and don't get to have cafeterias and things like that. But having them there for a extended period of time just to talk and debate, but be stuck together. I think Kimberly and I will miss that because it is going to go back to normal here soon at some point, and they're going to go back to their friends and their lives, and so we kind of got a little bit of what we had come back to us in some ways, but they're going to go back to their young adult lives too.
Yeah, we will miss that as well. It's been kind of fun for sure. All right, let's get into city business here. Of course, municipalities are bearing a huge responsibility, a lot of weight on your shoulders and the shoulders of your staff. You are primarily responsible for the public safety of this city and in some respects of the region as you work in cooperation with other cities. So when this hit and it became serious that we needed to very much rally together and respond dramatically, what did the city do right away, and what were the priorities?
We are the lowest level of government as the city of Temecula.
But the most impactful.
closest to the people.
Yes, that's right.
and we like that because we were accessible and approachable. Mid-March, our world was turned upside down, and I could feel the world closing in. We were watching it. In China, we were watching it. In Europe, we were watching it on the East Coast, and you could feel it coming. But you didn't really know what was going to happen or how you were going to react to it. One of the first things that we began to do as government orders were coming down from the state and from the feds and from the county was we began canceling events. There was congregation orders that would come down, and that seemed all relatively easy and doable. Then we began to shutter facilities, which I have staff assigned to, which is problematic and challenging. So as you started to close down the city, you really started to feel the weight of this pandemic that it was coming to Temecula, and we weren't immune to it. Then it became necessary for me to sign a local declaration of emergency, which is the first in my career that I've ever had to sign in 25 years, and I hope I never will have to do this again. That was very sobering, and that required the city council to ratify my decision, which we did in a virtual council meeting about 72 hours later. And what that did was, it was basically a declaration to the federal government and the state government that this is bad, this is getting bad, and I don't know how much worse it's going to get. But we as the city of Temecula want to be poised for any and all reimbursement in the battling of this crisis, and so we were going on the record as doing that. So that was kind of a pretty monumental moment, nearly 4 weeks ago. And then, of course, since then, orders have begun to change, and the city of Temecula, despite what some people think, we don't have our own health department. The Riverside County Health Department is the lead agency on this global pandemic, and particularly here for Riverside County. So we as disaster service workers and as a city, we are taking our lead from them. So these orders began to change. It fundamentally changes government. And so sometimes they were changing hourly, sometimes they were changing daily, and then it was our job to sort of interpret those and then pivot and begin to make operational changes as a city, and then of course push this out into our community through all of our channels, and then try to gain compliance in that manner. So that is still happening as you and I sit here today. And then, one of the bigger things that occurred shortly thereafter was the last building to close to the public was City Hall. And for me, I really struggled with that, because it's the people's house. It's there to serve. It's symbolic. And when I had to forcefully, make that decision to basically shutter it off for health reasons, it was very sad in a lot of ways, and what it meant and how serious things were going on. Now, while we were closed to the public, we couldn't stop providing services to the city. And so, fortunately for us, over the years, we've been investing in platforms and technology, and that has served us well. Because within about 48 to 72 hours, we had to flip a switch and become a virtual city.
I can tell you from experience, we're pulling 2 permits right now. And
it's still happening.
It's still happening. And I'm telling you, it's been smooth dealing with the plan checkers and the administrators and the fee payments system. It is really working great. So
love to hear that.
Congratulations to you, Pratt. Well, you had the foresight to plan on that in advance, and it's working. So congratulations.
No, folks are answering the phone. It's a skeletal crew housed inside City Hall. We have many folks that can work and telework. So we have, again, the development services, the code enforcement, the police, the fire, plan check, building and safety, code enforcement. All these are still remain available, and like I say, we might be closed to the public, but we're still very much open for business.
Yep. Let's talk about health and public safety. This is, of course, the main priority for us all, right? Immediately when this thing got serious, as you said, well put, that this was closing in on Temecula, and there are people in our city who have contracted COVID, and there are people, there have been several dozen in the county that have unfortunately passed away. So public safety is the top priority of the city every day, but especially in seasons like this, the responsibility is pretty heavy. Even though there's not a Temecula Health Department, there is a lot of coordination going on with Riverside Health Department and Temecula Valley Hospital, regional hospitals, and healthcare. Us sitting at home, what can we do to help you, the region, and the county in terms of health and public safety? Yeah,
no, several things. And just because we're not the lead agency doesn't mean we're disengaged. I just want to make that clear that on a daily basis we are in communication with Riverside County Public Health, the Executive Office, Temecula Valley Hospital, large employers, the Chamber of Commerce, Pachanga, and so There's a lot of folks that are doing some amazing things right now. In the past, we've had needs at Temecula Valley Hospital with donations for food for the employees, protective gear. We've put those out through the city platform, and our community is continuing to respond. As those needs continue, I would ask the community to continually remain generous and step up, and let's help our frontline health professionals right here in our backyard at Temecula Valley Hospital.
And we've been excited to participate in that. A word came through the city through a press release, and we mobilized our crew and delivering masks to local hospitals. And it's really cool to see, that the average citizen could make a difference.
Yeah.
And to do something. And it might seem small. Here's a few masks, and we can deliver those, or we have a whole ministry making these masks. And it's one of these right here, and to distribute those to each other and to the frontline healthcare workers has been fun. There's a little sense of satisfaction there that we're in this together and we can make a little bit.
Absolutely,
of a difference.
And folks are making a difference. We're hearing the stories about sewing groups, that are in Temecula that are providing these to the hospital. We're going to need that to continue, but the frontline folks at the hospital are doing an amazing job. They've equipped their facility. They're prepared for any surge that may potentially occur. They are going through the channels with national stockpile and ventilators, and it's pretty amazing to sort of watch all of this occur. But what else we need right now? We would ask Temeculans to continue to mask up,
right,
and stay home unless you have essential needs out in the community, which would be, groceries and banking and essential errands and gasoline. But if you don't have to go out, please do not go out. The other thing that I'd like to acknowledge, and I'm seeing this as I travel through the city, most folks are doing a really good job of adhering to the orders, this physical and social distancing. But we're going to need to continue this for a period of time, and we just ask that everyone continue to do that. And if you need to get outside, I need to get outside. We're not saying stay in your apartment, stay in your house. You're free to walk around and find a park near your place of residence, or a passive park, or a trail near your residence. What we ask is that you not get in your car and drive across town to a destination park, and that kind of goes against the orders, and we're having to educate people along the way that is unacceptable in these times. And
I've seen public officials out there telling people, hey, you got to get out of this destination park. This is not open. It's understandable. You don't want to get outside, and there's a gosh, how many parks do we have in Temecula?
40.
Okay, all right. That was my guess. And they're beautiful, and you want to go there, and you think, okay, I'm safe, but you can't be in those areas. But you can go to a neighborhood park.
Yeah.
You can walk to a neighborhood park.
No, and even the larger parks, if you happen to live near those, the parking lots are closed for a reason. But if you can walk there or ride your bike, and you need to walk through this open space, the open space is very much open for this purpose. But the restrooms will be locked. They're closed. The playgrounds are off limits. The amenities, such as a pump track or a skate park, those are closed for now. Yeah. We hope to open those when time allows. But the open space and the fresh air, we want people to feel like they can get that, because right now that's about all we have in terms of stay-at-home
so
orders.
If you can walk there, you can go to an open space. That's very helpful. I've also noticed that about 95% of people are wearing their masks, but every once in a while you see somebody not wearing a mask outside, and they need to be doing that.
Yeah. They do. And I think one of the best ways to gain 100% compliance is through social pressuring.
Right.
So we can all do our part to educate and remind people through your social platforms, and the city's going to continue to do its part to push out this message daily.
Let's get to the flip side of this, the recovery side. I have never, really since 9/11, have we seen this kind of cooperation between federal, state, county, and local governments. And then there's also international cooperation as well. That's really remarkable, particularly in the sciences and medicine. there will be another side of this. There will be the recovery side. You know, hopefully we pray that the curve is flattening. We're seeing some pretty good signs out there, and hopefully you get to the other side of that curve. There's going to be a recovery of people getting back to life, getting back to work. There's a lot of help available out there. The city's got a great tool on how people can access information about the recovery side of this. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so most Americans may have followed but may not have understood what the president signed into legislation a couple of weeks ago, which was called the CARES Act. It was about 880 pages of legislation, difficult to understand. They rolled it out. It was a $2 trillion package meant to be economic relief for Americans. And it didn't mean that $2 trillion pushed through the pipes that day, unfortunately. So there was a lot of guidelines and processes that the feds still hadn't put together, but there was some programs that had become available immediately. So we put a team together to really break this apart and really try to understand for the average person, if they're qualified, how do they apply, how do they go through, how do they seek financial assistance as an individual, when can they expect their checks, if they're a small business, what are they eligible for. So I would encourage everyone to go to the city's COVID-19 website. It's easy to find, and there's a button called Recovery. And we, over the last 2 weeks, have been putting bits and pieces of easily understand information there with links to the appropriate channels, and this is going to be a work in progress. Yeah, we realize that.
Constantly changing, right? Every day.
Yeah, this may go on for many months. That link to recovery is eventually going to become its own website on the city's website. But for now, we didn't want to wait, and so we're putting all that information there. In addition to that, we've set up a hotline that folks can call if they just have general COVID questions for the city. And we can put that out on this broadcast as well, yep. In addition to the website. But we encourage everyone to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Channel 3 is running 24/7. We're also utilizing an app. The City of Temecula app has a COVID response, and so you have inquiries or questions, or you want to report something, you can use the app to communicate with the city officials as well.
Well, it is fun to see government working. Now, I mean, we are very proud of the City of Temecula because under your leadership, and you've been in the city for how long?
25
years. And you've been the city manager for how long?
About 8.
So under your watch and in the previous regime with Sean Nelson, this city has become something very, very special. And so you ought to be very proud of your team. We're certainly proud of you and your leadership. We are a well-run city day to day, and given this crisis, the mettle of an organization really rises, and you have all stepped up to that and are leading very well. So we're so excited for your leadership in the City of Temecula, and we can all use these resources that are available to us, and we will get through this. We'll get through this together, and I believe we will emerge stronger than ever with our value set, better, and just cling on to each other a little more tightly, and we'll be a better city as a result. So, Aaron, thank you. I'd love to shake your hand, give you a little bro hug, but we can't. So back to the mask. Yeah. And thanks so much, and God bless you and your family, and the city staff and the healthcare workers, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you for this opportunity, Scott. God bless you. Yep.
Oh, that was so good. Man, we love connecting with you throughout the week. All right, before we close, there's a couple things I want to tell you. First of all, we hope you'll join us for Sunday services. We've got Rancho Temecula, Rancho Murrieta, and Rancho en Espanol all live streaming on Sunday. You can learn more about that at rancho.tv. And hey, I'd personally like to let you know that if you have not checked out our Rancho Kids show on YouTube, you are missing out. We post a new one every Sunday, and I'm telling you, we are hearing from so many families that they are having a blast with it. It is so much fun. So speaking of our YouTube channel, please subscribe, and then you won't miss anything that we put out there. All right, guys, it's been a lot of fun. We'll see you next time.